What's up, movers? It's Lacey. How are you? This is Move with Intention. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are wondering what all this talk about intention is and how you can get connected to your intention, this is going to be the episode for you, so stay tuned. But before we get started, we're going to do a couple of things that we always do at the beginning of the podcast. We are going to name 3 different things, people, situations, opportunities that we are grateful for, followed by a statement, a power statement, an affirmation statement that you feel strongly connected to. And this can change, all of these things can change day by day. What we want to do is ground ourselves, take some time to reflect, because reflection is connection. And so I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to think this through. And then if you can have a piece of paper and write it down, go ahead and write it down. Otherwise, say it out loud, because there's a power that comes when we speak our words aloud. And so for me today, the 3 things that I feel grateful for are the ability to choose, because it is a superpower and it is something that we have to recognize and be grateful for, the ability to make decisions, to make choices, because it all boils down to us. We don't have to wait on anyone else to make decisions for us, because we are the ones that are in control. We are the observer and the creator of our lives. And so therefore, when we point the finger at ourselves, we give ourselves the power, we take our power back to make decisions that align with what we see for ourselves, what we want to create here on earth, the energy that we want to be absorbed in, the ones that we want to create. And so the ability to choose, even in situations that are very difficult and very hard, it is still a blessing, and it's still something to be grateful for that we have that opportunity to choose. The second one I would say would be the ability to move. I feel so grateful that I can wake up every day and in some way or another, whether it's just a simple walk, whether it's a side stretch here and there, I'm down on the floor, I roll around for 5 seconds, I am so grateful that I get to move my body and move it in a way that is loving and that is appreciative and that comes from care. And the last one would be the power of being. Because the power of being, when we focus on who we want to be, it gives us a whole new sense of direction, intention, and connection, because we are no longer chasing something. We're not chasing material items. We're not chasing even goals. Goals can be great guides, but if goals are the only thing pushing us, then we're going to absolutely have that breaking point, and we're going to just stop, and we're going to be like, okay, what's the next goal? What's the next goal? But when we can become something, those things, the things that we want to do, the things that we want to have, the things that we want to complete, they're not the ones that fulfill us the most. What fulfills us the most is that energy that we hold inside, that energy of being. And I think it's such a powerful thing to recognize, choosing who we want to be, operating in that energy. For example, love or power, vulnerability, acceptance. That's a freeing feeling, and I'm very grateful to recognize and to reflect that I get to choose every single day to move my body, who I want to be, and just the ability to choose in general. So go ahead and think for a second, what are 3 things, possibilities, people that you feel grateful for? And then I want you to think of your affirmation statement of the day. So my affirmation statement of the day, as I find myself in a very impactful and hectic, but in a great way, period of my life, lots of changes, lots of things, lots of evolvement, progression, I feel like my affirmation statement today is, I am peaceful and I am calm. I make clear and concise decisions all throughout the day, because I trust my intention, because I trust my gut. It all comes from that connection within. I know that I make good decisions, and so when another opportunity arises to make a decision, I think it's important that we stop for a second before we react in a way that maybe isn't aligned with who we want to be. Know that we make good decisions. Look around. We've made good decisions this far. Look at where we are. Look at the people that we are, opportunities, the friends, whatever the case is. But just know deep down in your gut, if it's saying something to you, it's probably for a reason. And so you should trust your intuition, trust your gut instinct, and know that you make good decisions. And so that's my affirmation statement of the day. Go ahead and think of yours. I'll give you a second, because I'm really excited to dive into the episode today as we go into talking about being. So go ahead and take a second. I'll give you a second to think about this, reflect, connect. 3 things you're grateful for and 1 power statement. If you want to write them down, like I said, go ahead and write them down. Otherwise, say them out loud. Today, we're going to get right into a state of being, which was my 3rd one that I feel most grateful for recently, is that I have the power to choose who it is I want to be. It's no longer this goal, that goal, lose the weight, finish the job, level up the career, get the new car, upgrade my bicycle. As simple as it is, it's just not the focus at the moment, and I don't think it ever will be again, because comes from more of what's inside and the energy, my perspective, my mindset, what it is I'm doing, what it is I'm creating, coming from that state of being. And so I think it's important to recognize that we live in a world where in most cases it is have, do, be. Stop and think about that for a second. Have, do, and then be. For example, when I have the new car, I will go on road trips, I will do trips with my friends, with my family, and then I will be happy. But not until then. So I'm gonna work like a dog. I'm gonna be so stressed. I'm not gonna take time to enjoy the process because I can't be happy until I have the new car, I make all the plans, and that comes after. That's like the last portion of it. But if we switch that, let's just switch that whole perspective, and it would be do, it would be, do, have. What would that look like? If we lived in a world where everyone focused on and everyone knew that, no, okay, actually it is be, do, have. What would that look like? What would that look like for you? Think for a second. What would it look like for you if we started with be? Okay, well maybe that job, that title isn't so important after all. And that bank account, I mean, yeah, it's good to think about that and have that as a safety net in life, but you can't take that with you, so that's not even as important as you thought it was either. And what about that new dress? You have an event coming up, there's a wedding, there's a party. That new dress, it doesn't make a difference. You're gonna look great in it, it's gonna be a great time, but is it really worth your state of being depending on what that dress looks like on you, or what those new shoes look like on you, or this and that, anything material? If we start with be, we're gonna be happy right away because we're working inward, we're working internal first, and everything else around us flows. That means we're not waiting for others to dictate our mood, to dictate our happiness. We're not waiting for the world to say, okay, once he or she or they get this and that, then we're gonna permit peace in our lives. No, we're starting with be, which means we're taking the time to connect within so that the rest will just flow. Because the rest will flow once we are aligned energetically. And I totally believe this because the law of attraction is always working. If you live day to day hustling and grinding and working and something that doesn't fulfill you, eventually your cup, if it's a cup or your energy level that starts here, is gonna go down, even if it's gradual, 30-year mortgage. It could go down lower, lower, lower. Eventually you're gonna feel fatigued, you're gonna feel empty, you're gonna feel drained of energy. This is normal because where's the joy? Where's the fulfillment? Where's the peace, the happiness, the acceptance within you? It can't come from outside factors. It can't come from other people. It has to come from within. It should come from within. So if we change our perspective in this world of have, do, be, to be, do, have, we can take back our power and we can create what it is, create the state of being that we want to be in right now, and therefore connect ourselves to intention going forward with our relationships, with our communication style, with our jobs, with our really everything. If you think about it, it's everything in life. And we can still have goals. I love having goals. I'm a big goal person, but I don't let those goals dictate my happiness. I don't let those goals dictate my peace because I'm always, every single day, working internally to maintain that happiness, that peace, that joy. Because if we wait for the world to grant us the permission, we'll be waiting forever and we'll be like up and down, up and down, up and down. And I don't think anyone wants to experience that kind of energy up and down. So if it was be, if we lived be, do, have, what would that look like for you? What would your intention of being be for yourself? This can be anything. This is a state. Mine, for example, I can give some examples here, would be peace, would be love, would be vulnerability, would be power. And I know that when I engage all of those different energies and I start to utilize them and I start to incorporate them into my daily routine, into my life, it's just one little thing at a time. So for example, the beginning of my podcast, I really wanted to incorporate gratitude, and I wanted to incorporate something that installed power and empowerment within us as we went throughout the day in our decision making, because decision making is hard. Sometimes it's difficult to know what should I do, because there's a whole question when you ask, well, what should I do? What decision should I make? Because is this decision for me? Is this decision for you? Is it for everybody else? Who's the decision for? Am I people pleasing? Am I pleasing myself? Do I even know what I want? And so I think it's really important to stop and sit with ourselves and ask those questions and think, okay, who is it that I want to be? Who is it that I want to be? It's not what do I want, getting what I want. What I want is that big house with a pool, with a car, on the beach. I want to hear the ocean. These things are all great. They can push us, they can drive our motivation, but those things are not, we can't take those with them. Once we get those items, will we actually be happy? Is that actually going to deliver us happiness? And I'm talking happiness inside of us. Happiness outside of us that we share with others, this can be temporary, right? Because the house, it will age, it will start to fall apart. When the house falls apart, will our happiness diminish with it? If we work on internal states first, the happiness, that peace, that acceptance will be with us no matter what happens throughout our lives, because we have directly worked within and are connected within. So therefore, everything outside of us will be connected to us too. And if it's not, we won't be there judging it. We won't be there pushing it or resisting it. We are the observer and the creator. So we'll be able to observe something that we know we don't want to create more of, and it will pass us by just like a thought in meditation. And we're not going to be grasping at it because maybe that's going to bring us happiness, and like grabbing this and grabbing that because maybe that's going to deliver the peace. No, we have that within. And so where we put our focus, our energy goes. And where our energy goes, it grows and it expands. So be mindful of that. Where you're putting your energy, it's going to expand and it's going to grow. So if you want to change that up, take a second to reflect, where do I actually put my energy? How can I be intentional with my energy? Because that's going to be a direct reflection on myself. It's not being in a state of want. Because if we're constantly chasing the want, I want a boyfriend, I want a new car, I want to level up my job, I want a yoga mat, I want this for Christmas, I want that, we're going to be left in a state of want. It's so much more than that, because you are so much more than that. When you can connect what it is, your vision, your intention, what brings you joy, how are you going to love others? This could be the most simplest of tasks, the most simplest of things, but when you can connect to that, you'll feel fulfilled inside, and you won't be waiting for the joy that comes with the yoga mat, the new car, the boyfriend, because you'll have it within. And so focus on creation. I think this is something that's really interesting, because when we focus on creation, you are in charge. I am in charge. I can create whatever it is I want, because 100% is possible 100% of the time. There's always possibilities around us. Like I mentioned before, sometimes we just have to change our lenses, change the glasses. Maybe they're fogged up, clean them off, spray it down, but it's always available around us. And when we focus on creation, that gives us freedom, because we know that we are in our own power and we can create what it is we want. And when we come from freedom, we come from love, we experience abundance. We don't come from a state of lack. We come from abundance. We know that we can create what it is that we want, and we don't need to wait for someone else to bring it into our lives, because we're capable of creating our own, whatever it is that we would like to be, the person that we would like to become. And so what is it that you intend to create? Think about this for a second. What do you want to create in your life? This can be the simplest of things, stemming from love, stemming from peace, stemming from joy, stemming from purpose, from impact, from you name it. This is up to you. I'm just guiding. I'm just giving some examples. But when we align who it is that we want to be, everything will start to flow in that energy, because we're not chasing, we're not forcing, we're not searching out there looking. We're going to be present within, connected within, and it's going to flow out of us, and it's going to be totally natural. And it might not be at first, which is what I'm going to talk about in episodes to come, or maybe even in this episode too if we have the time. But I think it's a whole process, and you have to trust the process. You can't wake up one day and think, okay, this is true. Be, do, have. I'm going to start living by this, and tomorrow I'm going to wake up and it's going to be a totally different person, a totally different impact I'm going to have on the world, totally different intention, totally different life. No, it's a process. It's a process that we have to trust. It's a process that we have to work at day in and day out. And it's a privilege to be able to make those decisions, to choose who it is we want to be, what it is we want to give to the world, give to others, give to ourselves in that energy, that state of being. And so when we start to focus on creation, we'll be working in harmony, body, mind, soul. It's not going to be one fighting against the other, because in the long run, if you think about things, your mind will tell you one thing, your heart will tell you the other, and your body might have a reaction that's totally opposite of the two. And so it's like, how can I get these things into alignment? And the way you can get those things into alignment is by asking yourself, who do I want to be? And what is it that I have to do intentionally to become that person? Step by step, day by day, small by small. It's a steps. It's a step process. It's not a huge leap. You can't start at the bottom of the staircase and end at the top. It's not about the destination. It's not about the top of where we're going, the mountain, the hill, the staircase. It's about the journey. The journey is what's going to teach us. The journey is what's going to connect us to ourselves, to our vision, to others, to our purpose in this world, because there's something that's called a purpose and a calling. And when we look within, connect within, we'll be able to tap into that, and we'll be living a life that we created for ourselves, not that the world created for us. We're not victims to our situation. We are creators of our experience here on this world, on this earth. And so the power that you'll begin to grasp will flow freely from you, and it will bring forth opportunities. It will bring forth people. It will bring forth energies, because let me tell you one thing. When you start operating and be, you stop people pleasing. So if you are a people pleaser, it's going to have to go, because you're going to be asking yourself, wait a second, who do I want to be? And what does that look like for me? Because I want them to be happy, but that doesn't come from me. They can't rely on me. And I know that they might be the best people in the whole world, family, friends, co-workers. But if you're people pleasing, then you're taking away from yourself. And so when you start going inward and putting yourself first, they might not be getting what they want out of you, or what they've been accustomed to getting out of you, and you might lose people in your life. But you have to be accepting of that fact, because you are connecting to self. And the only person you're going to be with for your entire life, no matter what, is yourself. And so there's nothing more important than connection to self, and that comes from reflection, and that comes from who do you want to be while you are here experiencing and creating this experience for yourself on earth. And so my question today for you is exactly that. I want you to take a second. I want you to think about who it is you want to be. Who do you want to be, and how would that impact your life? Because if you start with be, you'll progress to do, and you'll have the things that you've always envisioned having. Maybe you have a Pinterest board and you're focusing on all the different things. Look at all the things that I want to have and things that I want to do, experiences that I want to create. But if we don't start with be, which comes from love, which comes from self-acceptance, compassion, whatever that looks like to you, those things will only be temporary fulfillments, because you can't take those with you. Even experiences shape our lives, but we can't take those experiences with us. They're all memories. And what we can get from those experiences is energy. Conversation and connection is energy exchange. So imagine if you level up your be, you level up your state of being, the connections and conversations, energy exchanges you will be having with people as you go out there in the world and do what it is you want to do, and have what it is you want to have while you're here experiencing this life. So if we start with do, we'll be able to be fulfilled no matter what happens, good, bad, in between. There is no good, there is no bad, positive, negative. We'll be able to maintain that state of being no matter what life throws at us. And so I think my biggest takeaway recently is that reflection is connection. And when I come from be, then I can truly level up my energy, level up my conversations, level up the love, the vulnerability, my intentions going forward, and whatever it is I want to do in this lifetime. And I know that I'm the creator of my experience. I'm not waiting for this to happen or banking on that to happen for me to be happy, for me to be at peace, for me to be the person that I want to be, because that starts with me, that starts with you, that starts with us. And having that knowledge, now that you know, you have to apply it. And if you don't apply it, then you're missing out on an expansion of yourself. And so knowing is growing, and knowing is power. Step into your power. Keep moving with intention, and I can't wait to see you guys back here soon. Thank you so much for joining me. If this resonated with you, if you felt like any of it was helpful, please let me know. Screenshot the episode, post it on social media, send me a text, send me a comment, shoot me a message on DMs, whatever platform works best for you. I want to connect. I want to know what you feel about this episode and of this I have another episode coming on this soon, something that's a little bit more personal, but I think it might resonate with some of you here. And I'm really excited to have some more guests on the show. I'm excited to launch the show. I know that once this comes out, it's obviously going to be launched already, but I'm working really hard, and I feel super connected and super excited to be sharing this kind of connection, this kind of conversation to you. And it has all started from me connecting to me, leveling up my energy, and knowing that I am the creator, I am the observer, and the person that I want to be comes from love, from vulnerability, and that is in me sharing all of these different ideas, stories, and connecting with you here. Thank you all so much for joining. I send you mil besos, so many kisses because I'm still here in Spain, so we're gonna incorporate some Espanol and have a super lindo, bonita dia. Mwah.